Hi everyone, Aidan here from the Two Dachshunds Pub Shed. I've had a couple of questions recently around sort of the draft setup within the shed. So I thought I'd do a very quick video, showcase kind of what I've done, why I've done it, the way I've done it, which might give you some inspiration and ideas. So this is the current inside of our pub shed. I'm sure you've all seen this if you follow us on Instagram. All starts at the back of the shed, in what I call the cellar. Still got some work to do to finish this off, but in essence you can see we've got the CO2 gas cylinder. So I use just CO2 gas. I don't use 30-70 mixed nitrogen CO2, just pure CO2. Out of a single regulator, I've then got 4 inline regulators which go to different parts of the bar setup, and then out of those 4 regulators into the back of the shed. So we can see here, just got a bog standard dual gauge CO2 regulator from eBay. Once this is turned on, I normally pressurize it to about 120 psi. It's currently off because I've got no keg connected at the moment, as we drank all the beer that was in it. So yeah, I pressurize this to about 120 psi, and I use the inline regulators to control the psi of the kegs and the bar gun. So it comes out the regulator, and these are my 4 inline regulators. The top one goes to the first keg. The next 2 are the 3 lines on the bar gun, which I typically use for things like sort of Coke, lemonade, tonic water. Still, I'll do a separate video on the bar gun. Still figuring a few of those things out, because every now and then liquid is coming out flat, but it's staying gassy in the bottles. So I've got some more trial and error to get that working right. But I said I'll do another video, I think, on the bar gun. And then the 4th one is the second keg for the second tap. I've not actually bought the keg yet, but that's all been lined in sort of this weekend, ready to do that. And then I've got a temperature gauge as well at the top. Obviously, depending on the temperature outside and inside the fridge, it can affect how the liquid comes out of the taps. So as I said, yeah, the regulator is set to 120 psi, and then these inline regulators, typically for the kegs, I tend to set between sort of 12 and 15 psi, depending on the temperature outside. Got a little video here just showing the regulator at the bottom goes up to the top. It then splits out into the 4 inline regulators, and then the 4 gas lines, the grey tubing comes out and then goes into the back of the shed. So once we're in the shed, this is the bar area set up. This wall here on the right hand side, on the back of that wall, is where the cylinders are, what I've just shown you, and the 4 grey gas lines come in behind this unit here, and then they come over the top of the fridge, and then they go into the fridge. So here we can see 4 gas lines. Still needs tidying up a little bit. As I said, I've just installed a new tap line this weekend, but these gas lines come across over the top of the fridge and then in through the front of the fridge door. On my previous fridge, I had them go through the top, which was a lot better. I went to drill an additional hole to put an extra line in, because at the time I had 1 line and I wanted to put another 2 in, and I nipped a refrigerant line. Obviously all the gas escapes, and then yeah, the fridge is useless. So I picked another one up off Facebook, but I decided to go through the door. I think when I was doing some research, the sides is always definitely a no-no. But I've gone right towards, this is where the door bracket is, right towards the edge of the door. Inside, you're just not going to hit any refrigerant lines then, and end up sort of destroying a fridge. Because, well, in Shropshire, trying to find a second-hand under-counter fridge is like gold dust. So anyway, so the gas lines come into the fridge and then into the keg down here. So the gas line into the non-return valve, pressurizes the keg, and then it pushes the liquid out through the beer lines, which are the clear lines. There's lots of tubes in here because, say, I've got it set up for the beer gum, and then a second keg, which will be going in shortly. So the kegs I use, 9.5 litre keg and Corny Kegs. I get everything from brew keg tap, near enough, because I don't have a space for a full keg, the 80 pint kegs. Plus, I'd probably not drink 80 pints before the gas, the beer sort of goes off or goes flat. So I tend to put home brew in the kegs. Dregs of big sort of 80 pint kegs, siphon the beer out into the Corny Keg. Or if I've got nothing and I'm a bit of a party, have some people around, tend to pour sort of canned alcohol Carlsberg inch cider into the Corny Kegs, so people get that the nice effect of pouring their own drink sort of through a tap. As long as you get your gas pressure right, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So yeah, as I said, here's a picture. The grey line, the gas line, goes into the Corny Keg. As the tank is pressurized, the gas then pushes the liquid down, and then the liquid comes out the gas line here, which is the clear tubing, comes out, back out the fridge, out the front of the fridge, over the top of the fridge, and then into the two taps. And in sort of essence, that's the draft setup within the Two Dachshunds sort of pub shed. When I first started building this, kind of knew what I was doing. As I said, as you might have heard before, especially on my home bar of the week on Ale and Audio. I've got a friend that runs mobile bars, and I help him out. I did end up placing about 4 or 5 separate orders with brew keg tap for lots of little things. Regulators, a different sort of beer line, gas line, sort of diameters to the taps, and you have to buy lots of sort of different things to make it all connect together. So I will, on my website, I'll put a list of everything that I used and roughly where I used it with a bit of a diagram. So if you kind of want to replicate my setup, it should be quite easy. So yeah, that's my setup. So if you've got any comments, sort of drop me a message on Instagram. I'll put everything in the YouTube profile description below.